You have been telling yourself it is not that bad. You have been smoothing over the details, shrinking the ache, finding explanations for what keeps leaving you unsettled. Dear heart, your stomach tightens before their name appears. Your thoughts become careful. Your words get edited before they ever leave your mouth. And afterward you sit alone trying to decide whether you are too sensitive or whether something is truly wrong. Beloved, that confusion is exhausting. The second guessing, the self-correction, the constant measuring of how much truth is safe to speak. You have been living with a quiet alarm inside you, and because it has lasted so long, you have almost started calling it normal. Precious one, listen closely now. You are in harm's way when you keep remaining where your spirit is steadily diminished. Not always by shouting, not always by bruises that others can point to. Sometimes the deepest injury is the slow erosion of your clarity, your confidence, your ability to recognize what is healthy. That is why I am speaking so gently and so plainly. My child, the threat around you may not look dramatic from the outside. It may wear a familiar face, a persuasive voice, a cycle of apology followed by the same wound. It may come disguised as love, concern, guidance, or need. But if you leave each encounter smaller, more anxious, more unsure of your own mind, do not ignore that. Loved one, I am not trying to frighten you. I am trying to wake up the part of you that has gone quiet in order to cope. You have adapted to what should have troubled you. You have learned to keep the peace by doubting your own instincts. You have learned to survive discomfort by minimizing it. You have learned to call your vigilance maturity, when really it has been exhaustion wearing a brave face. Sweet soul, there is a line between patience and self-betrayal. There is a line between compassion and staying available to repeated harm. There is a line between giving grace and teaching others that your heart can be handled carelessly. You have crossed that line more than once, not because you are foolish, but because you hoped. You hoped they would change. You hoped one more explanation would help. You hoped if you stayed gentle enough, useful enough, forgiving enough, the pattern would break. Dear heart, hope is beautiful, but hope without discernment can leave you standing in places where your inner life keeps getting cut. This is why I need you to hear me now. The risk is not only what is happening around you, the risk is also what repeated injury is beginning to do within you. It is making you question your own memory. It is teaching you to ignore your body warning signs. It is tempting you to believe that peace means silence, that love means endurance, that goodness means you must accept what hurts you without naming it. Beloved, that is not peace. That is not love. That is not goodness. Those are distortions born from prolonged strain. Dear family, we want to share an important update with you. Our Buy Me a Coffee account has been deactivated, and we have been informed that all previous contributions from supporters will be refunded. While we respect the platform decision, this has been a difficult moment for us. As many of you know, our YouTube channel has already been demonetized for some time. That means we have continued creating and sharing God messages without any earnings. Behind every video are hours of preparation, prayer, recording, editing, and production expenses. There have been real challenges during these past months, but our commitment to this ministry remains unchanged. We did not begin this journey for income. We began it to spread faith, hope, and encouragement. And by God's grace, we will continue. To everyone who tried to support us, even though the funds will be returned to you, please know that your love and willingness to stand with us means more than finances ever could. For those who still feel led to support this work, we now have a PayPal option available in the description. There is absolutely no pressure. God messages will always remain free and accessible to all. We trust that God sees this season, and we believe He will open new doors in His perfect time. Thank you for being part of this family. My dear one, you do not become noble by staying where your soul must keep disappearing to remain accepted. You do not become stronger by enduring every cut without flinching. You do not become kinder by making excuses for what keeps damaging you. Sometimes the bravest thing is not another act of accommodation. Sometimes the bravest thing is admitting, "This is harming me." Precious one, I know why this is hard. Part of you still remembers their tenderness. Part of you clings to the good moments. Part of you fears that naming the truth will make everything more real than you feel ready for. And part of you wonders if leaving, stepping back, or drawing a boundary means you have failed. You have not failed. Recognizing what is harmful is not failure. It is clarity returning. Loved one, pay attention to the signs you have been taught to dismiss. The fatigue that settles into your bones after being around them. The dread before a call, a visit, a conversation. The way your chest tightens when you think about being honest. The way relief appears when distance finally comes. These things matter. Your body often notices what your mind is still trying to negotiate. My child, I do not ask you to panic. I ask you to become honest. There is a difference. Panic scatters. Honesty gathers. Panic says, run without thinking. Honesty says, stop pretending this does not wound you. And from that honest place you can begin to make steadier choices. Beloved, you have been standing in a doorway too long. Half in, half out. Half aware, half in denial. You keep hoping the threshold itself can become home. But thresholds are tiring places. They keep the body tense. They make the mind spin. They train the heart to live in constant preparation instead of rest. You cannot heal while forever bracing for the next impact. Dear heart, listen to what is underneath all this confusion. You need safety. Not only physical safety, though that matters deeply. You need emotional safety too. Room to speak without being twisted. Room to feel without being mocked. Room to be uncertain without being controlled. Room to tell the truth without paying for it with punishment, withdrawal, or contempt. These are not luxuries. These are basic needs for a human soul. Sweet soul, if someone repeatedly makes your heart feel unsafe, you do not owe that pattern unlimited access to your life. If a relationship requires your silence to survive, something is already broken. If closeness depends on your confusion, that is not healthy closeness. If your kindness is being used to keep you compliant, that is not sacred sacrifice, that is misuse. And I want to protect what is precious in you. Precious one, you have been afraid of overreacting, afraid of being unfair, afraid that if you step back, others will not understand. This fear has kept you stuck. But hear me clearly. You are allowed to protect your peace before someone else agrees that it needed protection. You are allowed to honor the warning even if others only notice the pleasant surface. You are allowed to respond to what is real, not only to what is visible. My dear one, sometimes harm enters slowly, not with one dramatic event but with 1,000 small diminishments. A mocking tone, a dismissal, a guilt-laced demand, a pattern of blame, a tenderness that appears only after damage to keep you from leaving. That slow pattern can be harder to name. It can leave you wondering whether each moment is serious enough. But the question is not only, was this one moment severe? The deeper question is, what is this pattern doing to my soul? Loved one, that is where truth becomes impossible to ignore. It is wearing you down. It is stealing your steadiness. It is making you rehearse yourself instead of simply being. It is narrowing your world. It is draining your delight. It is teaching your nervous system to stay alert where it should be able to rest. This is why I am speaking plainly now. Not to shame you for staying too long. Not to accuse you for what you missed. But to help you notice that continued exposure is costing more than you have admitted. Beloved, when love is healthy, it may challenge you, but it does not erase you. When connection is healthy, it leaves room for your humanity. When care is real, you do not have to keep abandoning your inner truth to maintain it. If you must constantly betray yourself to keep a bond intact, the bond is already injuring you. That may be painful to hear, but pain that tells the truth can become a doorway to freedom. Dear heart, you may be waiting for certainty so complete that no fear remains. It may not come that way. Sometimes clarity arrives while your hands still shake. Sometimes wisdom appears before confidence does. Sometimes the next right step still feels costly. That does not mean it is wrong. It means your heart has been stretched by too much strain for too long. My child, I want you to notice something. Each time you have had a little distance, your thoughts became clearer. Your laughter came easier. Your body softened. You slept a little deeper. Then contact resumed and the old fog returned. This pattern is not imaginary. This is information. Do not throw it away. It is one of the mercies I have placed in front of you. Sweet soul, if you keep dismissing what harms you, the greatest risk is not only more pain, it is losing trust in your own perception. And when a person stops trusting their own perception, they become easier to control, easier to silence, easier to keep in patterns that steal their life quietly. I do not want that for you. I want your inner knowing to strengthen again. I want your voice to return to itself. I want your decisions to come from grounded truth, not fear, not guilt, not the pressure of someone else's demands. Precious one, you are not too much for needing steadiness. You are not dramatic for noticing repeated harm. You are not cruel for wanting distance from what keeps bruising you. You are not selfish for wanting room to heal. These lies have wrapped around you for too long. Now they need to loosen. My dear one, there may be practical steps that need care. A conversation with someone safe, a place to stay, a boundary that is simple and clear, a plan that does not depend on the other person suddenly becoming different. Wisdom is not only emotional, it is practical. It respects reality. It understands that good intentions alone do not change destructive patterns. Loved one, you do not need to figure out everything tonight, but you do need to stop calling this normal. That alone is a holy beginning. That alone opens a little light where denial has kept the room dim. And once light enters, you begin to notice what your soul has been enduring. I know this realization may bring grief. You may mourn how long you stayed confused. You may mourn the version of love you hoped this would become. You may mourn how often you blamed yourself for someone else's way of diminishing you. That grief is understandable. Do not turn it into self-punishment. You survived the best way you knew how. Now new wisdom is arriving. Beloved, I do not despise your slowness in this. I understand trauma. I understand attachment. I understand how fear and hope can become tangled together. I understand why leaving a pattern is often harder than naming it. So I come to you with patience, not pressure, with firmness, but also warmth, with truth, and also tenderness. Dear heart, you may not yet feel brave. That does not mean bravery is absent. Sometimes courage begins as a quiet refusal to keep lying to yourself. Sometimes it begins as one honest sentence. Sometimes it looks like resting in a safer place for one night. Sometimes it is simply admitting, I need help. These small beginnings matter. They are how strength returns to a tired life. Precious one, I want to say this carefully. If you sense that your physical safety is at risk, or that another person's behavior is escalating, that signal matters deeply. Do not wait for one more proof. Do not tell yourself you are imagining it just because part of you still wants peace. Seek support. Move towards safety. Choose the place where your body does not have to brace itself for harm. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. My child, your life matters too much to keep handing it over to patterns that are darkening your spirit. You were not made to live in chronic fear. You were not made to measure every word to avoid another wound. You were not made to accept confusion as the price of closeness. You were made for steadiness, for clean air in the soul, for relationships where truth can stand upright, for tenderness that does not turn on you. Sweet soul, If all you can do right now is acknowledge the truth, start there. If all you can do is stop defending what hurts you, start there. If all you can do is whisper within yourself, "This is not healthy," start there. Small truth has great power. It begins to gather scattered parts of you. It begins to rebuild trust between your heart and your own voice. Loved one, I am not far from you in this. I am near in the trembling, near in the confusion, near in the practical next step, near in the silence after a hard realization. You do not need to carry this awakening without support. You do not need to become hard to become safe. You do not need to have every answer before you honor the warning. Dear heart, there is a place in you that still knows what peace feels like. It may seem faint now. It may sound quiet beneath all the noise, but it is there. And as you move toward what protects life in you, that place will grow stronger. The fog will thin. Your thoughts will settle. Your body will begin to believe that rest is possible again. Beloved, for tonight, do not force the whole future into view. Just tell the truth about the present. That is enough for this moment. You do not need a dramatic speech. You do not need to prove your case to your own soul. You already know more than you have wanted to admit. Let that knowing be treated with care. My dear one, I am watching over what is fragile in you. I am guarding the spark of clarity that has begun to rise. Stay close to what is honest. Stay near to whatever leads you towards steadiness and shelter. And as the room grows quiet, as your thoughts begin to loosen their grip, rest in this gentle truth. I remain here, steady beside you, until your heart learns the sound of safety again. Amen. Beloved family, I want to sincerely thank those of you who stood with us during this challenging season. Even after our YouTube demonetization and the closure of our Buy Me a Coffee account, many of you chose to understand our situation and support this ministry with faith and generosity. You did not just give support, you gave strength. In a time of uncertainty, your encouragement reminded us that this mission truly matters. Please know that God sees every act of kindness done in His name. What you have sown into this ministry is not forgotten. We pray that the Lord bless your home, guide your steps, strengthen you in every season, and reward your kindness in His perfect way and time. May His peace and favor surround you always.